The Anker 165 and 250 watt power banks are two of the most popular ones that Anker currently offers. They come in at this soda can or energy drink size, and they're able to give plenty of power to keep all your devices charged, from phones to tablets, computers, and also some gaming consoles as well. And they have a couple of differences, and in this video we're going to help you decide if you should buy the 165 watt or the 250 watt power bank. Anker did send me both of these for free to review. They have no input in this content. This is just based on my experience using both of these extensively, so I can help you know if you should buy the 165 or the 250 watt power bank. So when you first look at them side by side, the 250 watt is definitely bigger, but only by a little bit. The 165 watt weighs almost as much as it, and it's just a little bit smaller. The 250 watt has a 27,650 milliamp hour capacity, or 99.5 watt hours, and this is going to be airline approved. The 165 watt is also airline approved with a 90 watt hour capacity, or 25,000 milliamp hours. This one does top out at 165 watts of total output that's available. This one has 250 watts of power available, and you get up to 140 watts out of either of the ports. So the 250 watts is split between the ports. On the 165 watt, the most power you can use on any port is 100 watts. So each port has less wattage available, and it also gets split a little bit more than it does with the other one. The main difference between the two of these is in the cables that are provided. With the 250 watt, you get a 140 watt capable cable, but there's no built-in cable. So this is just a giant power bank that has two USB-C ports and one USB-A port, which is still very nice. And then on the bottom, you can also charge it either using the charging bank, or you can also charge it with the USB-C ports on it. What's really cool about this one is you can charge it with up to 140 watts of power into either of the ports, or you can combine the two ports and go all the way up to 170 watts, which charges this just ridiculously fast. It's so crazy to see how fast this is recharging. The 165 watt by comparison takes longer to recharge because it only is able to be recharged from one port at a time and up to 100 watts in. So this one is considerably slower to recharge than this one, but you still can recharge this in a couple of hours. If you need charger recommendations for these, I have links to some of my favorite chargers for these power banks in the description below. And then with the 165 watt, you have this lanyard that has a cable built into it. It's very cool how the cable is just tucked out of the way, and you can carry the power bank, or you can just pop the cable out really easily if you want to use it. And then on top, you have the retractable 2-foot cable, which I love this. This is such a cool design. You can just put it back in and it magnets down. They also both have really nice screens on the front of them that show you the amount of power going in and out, how long it's going to take to recharge, and other things like that. Also, the 165 watt has a USB-C port on the side and a USB-A port. The C can go in or out, and the A is only for out. So you get one additional USB-C device with this one, but the cables are built in, which some people don't like, but I've never had any issues with any of Anker's products that have the built-in cables. So personally, I love the cables built in because it really comes in handy for keeping all your different devices recharged, because you don't have to be looking around for a cable like this. So both of these have plenty of power through all their ports, but I did notice this one will throttle more often. So either when you're recharging it or when you're charging other devices, sometimes the power will drop on it, and you can see that on the screen as you're monitoring it. The 250 watt does a better job at holding those high wattage 100 watt charging speeds for longer durations of time. This one really does it better in bursts, so it can give you a quick top off, but it's not going to be able to sustain that workload as well, which means that the 250 watt is going to be a better option if you're running more demanding tasks on laptops like the MacBook Pro 14 or 16 inch. You're doing a lot of video editing and you really need the extra juice. Where this one really comes in handy to me is the fact that it's a little bit sleeker, a little bit smoother, and it has those built-in cables, so it's a little bit more convenient. Now, technically in the real world, you could say this one fits better in a backpack, but I didn't notice one or the other fitting better in a backpack. They both take up a considerable amount of space. I've had multiple people comment on my videos and say, where do you put these? You just gotta have plenty of space in your backpack. So the size comparison, you're really not going to have any size savings. The 165 watt comes with an 18-month warranty, and the 250 watt comes with the 2-year warranty. So this one is technically going to be supported longer for Anker. And typically, if a company gives you a longer warranty, that means they have more faith in this product than they do in this product. So if you're trying to decide between these, there's really just a couple of things you need to consider. First thing is, do you want the built-in cables? Personally, I love the built-in cables, and that's why 9 times out of 10, I reach for the 165 watt one, because it's so convenient to have those ready to go with you all the time. This one just works a lot better if you want to keep phones and tablets recharged, because you always have the cords ready for you. Where the 250 watt really shines is the fact that you have more USB-C ports. So if you want to use this with things like the Apple MagSafe chargers for the computers, then you're going to have the better ports available to do that with. Also, if you want to charge 2 computers at the same time, you technically can do that with this one as well. They both have a very high capacity, but the 250 watt definitely has additional capacity that makes it a better choice if you want to use this with a laptop, because every little bit of power is really going to count with the laptop. But if you're not quite as concerned about getting the most possible capacity or the higher amount of wattages, and you really just want to use this to keep things like a MacBook Air, an iPad, your iPhone charged, it's really hard to beat the laptop power bank just for the convenience of having the cords. But if you're using this every single day and you're going to use it, recharge it, use it, recharge it, that's when you're going to appreciate the 250 watt one, because it is able to recharge at those higher wattage speeds. So if you're trying to decide between the laptop power bank or the 250 watt power bank, I think really the first thing you need to decide is if you can live without the built-in cables. Because if you can live without the built-in cables, the 250 watt is definitely the better choice with more power, more wattage, more capacity. It's just better overall, and it doesn't throttle as often. You also get the versatility of the charging base that you can go buy if you'd like. I don't really use it a ton, but it is a cool feature. But if you really want the most convenient power bank that still gives plenty of wattage, plenty of capacity, that's when I recommend you buy the laptop power bank instead, because it can still recharge very fast, still has tons of output to keep all your devices charged, and still has quite a bit of capacity to make sure that your devices are able to stay running. If you're interested in buying either of these power banks, I do have links to buy in the description below. If you got any other questions about them, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear them. Like this video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any upcoming content.